Hello everyone. This is Pooja Bua, and today is the last and fifth day of semester three presentation. And from the paper number 205, Cultural Studies, I choose the topic Identity through the lens of cultural study. Here are my personal information. Now let's first see what is cultural study and what role play identity in context of cultural study. So cultural study is an interdisciplinary academic field. We heard this line so many times, but why it is interdisciplinary academic field? So we can say that it is not follow only one line or one area. It follows so many areas in academic way, in other way too, like anthropology, music field, literature field, history field, and psychological field, so many fields. That is why cultural study has so many other aspects apart from this too. The cultural study, it employs critical analysis to uncover underlying power dynamics also. Not only not only this academic concept, but also how power plays role in all this concept is also a main thing which cultural study reflect. Stuart Hall described cultural study in a way that he known for his work encoding and decoding media messages, in which he explores how meaning is constructed and interpreted in various cultural texts. But while if we seek Pramod K. Nair, so he sees that cultural study as a field of examine how culture and society interact on more only not in media messages, but more on post-colonial way and more in a globalization way, in global way. Uh, Identity has two ways. First, what we think what is identity, but and in second way, what culture study thinks identity. So first, if we ask anyone that what is your identity, means who you are. It can be included your name, what role you are playing right now, like student or daughter. This is a particular definition of identity. But if we see in culture and culture study what is identity, it not only focus on that, but it also focus on other aspect. In culture study, a person's identity can from roles what they take on, and more what they play, more than that what they represent themselves as their identity. It is more important in cultural study. As Stuart Hall described, that we can understand identity in culture study in two ways. First one, the first way thinks that identity has a core, something essential, and second is that the way say that there are no fully formed separate identities like this. His two ideas also contrasting with each other in it. There are so many type of identities in cultural studies: cultural identity, racial, gender, sexual, nation, and other identity. But this too is it it really growing, I guess, according to me, and it is very interesting, the intersectional identity and digital identity. So it is written two times. Intersectional Sectionality and identity. This concept of intersectionality, particularly developed by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1980s, it's about how our different parts of who we are, like our race, gender, are attracted to, and social class, all mixed together and shape our experience. Like example is given here: a person is black woman. This black woman identifies two identity intersectionality in each other. Like gender wise she is a woman, and race wise she is a black, so black woman, it is like that. In the legal world also, people are talking about how the laws against discrimination should consider those who face this type of discrimination because of more than one part of who they are. It is really questionable in legal way that a person has one more than one identity, and they face so many problems for that too. If we see digital identity, in contemporary time, it is more related to contemporary times, that the influence of games, K-pop, Japanese anime trends in social media has so much influence in youth and all the people right now. And what comes from that, what role that play in our life also, and what how it affects. So all this part of our identity can affect how we feel and think, and how then can ever transform our personality. In Freud's view, our mind has three components. He described in ego and super ego, that how it work in psychological way also, that what we think our identity is and what other think our identity. And third is what we represent our identity is. If we have to see an example of digital identity, I wrote one example of games, that in games some people are very introvert, but while playing the game they change their avatar. In game it is allowed to change their avatar. A person who is really introvert, it becomes extrovert in games, like expert in games, but in real life it is not so that they cannot become very explorable. So identity through this type of thing change also. Like it is really famous in social media about identity, how some kind of people change their identity through gender wise. We all know this famous example of Angel Priya, that so many people make fake identities of it in do fraud also. But there's sometimes this cheating or changing the identity question within themselves, that what am I doing and what this affect to other people. Yeah, so this is all for now. Sorry. Identity cultural studies in action. How in contemporary time it is action identity. So looking at and giving opinion on how different groups of people are known in the media, and asking for more type of people to be shown in TV, movies, ads, and news in real and accurate way, that how they show in TV and movies, as we saw in previous slides also, that how a particular a way of standing show a different kind of thing. Getting involved and speaking up to help with issues about who you are, like helping other identities, like helping LGBTQ, and giving them support also is really important in this time also. Making sure that schools are welcoming to everyone, no matter where they came from and who they are. The first step of learning about identity is school, uh, or our childhood, that what we are giving to other generation, our next generation, the thought of identity, how it plays role, it is really very important in it. Promoting art, literature, and cultural activities also important, and ongoing thought in cultural studies in identity concept right now. This shows that cultural studies can be useful way to help with tough issues about who we are. So identity in cultural studies not only for studying or in a kind of syllabus type, but it also help us to learn in our real life too. This is all for my presentation. Here are my references. Thank you. Stage is open for questions.
Puja, what role do cultural symbols and practices play in shaping and expressing personal identity?
Hmm. Uh, it is kind of an issue, that how our culture reflect our identity and affect our identity. We can see in so many cultures that how identity reflect through the culture, and sometimes this became a thing, like they cannot change their thought about the culture and their identity. Cultural symbols like bindi, that represent their identity, that the person wearing is bindi in the cultural context, so they are a particular caste also, and particular race also. So this type of cultural symbols affect identity. Sometimes it can be really problematic, as we saw the example of 9/11 also, that how Punjabis are also kind of shikar of that incident. Yeah.
Uh, Pooja, how does cultural studies approach the concept of identity and how does it differ from traditional understanding of identity?
Hmm. As I also described in my presentation, I would like to say one thing, that what our traditional thinking of gender. I want to give example of gender. What we think, or we ask someone that what how many genders are there, they normally say two, now, or sometimes three. But cultural study, no, in gender wise also has so many concepts like LGBTQ, not only three gender, male, female, and male, female, and transgender. Yeah, so in cultural study, in other concept also, like this gender identity, there are other identities which explore and break our traditional thought of culture identities.